You're listening to the AFTERBUZZ TV network, now the largest new media platform on the web, and your #1 source for after-show entertainment.
Very good, Dean Johnson.
From the AFTERBUZZ Studios in Los Angeles, California, presented by Maria Menounos and streaming live thanks to Akamai Technologies, this is AFTERBUZZ TV's Welcome to Sweden After Show. We'll break down tonight's episode and get you all the latest news and gossip. And now, another post-game wrap-up show for your favorite TV show. It's AFTERBUZZ TV's Welcome to Sweden After Show.
Hey guys, welcome to the Welcome to Sweden After Show. We're your hosts, Britta and Carli Garsow. Okay, so this week's episode number 3, was called Proving Love. Can anyone guess what that means? So Bruce and Emma have to prove to the immigration office that they are in fact a happy couple. Very similar to The Proposal, if you've ever seen that movie. I mean, that movie's amazing. So good. Kevin the dog. Love him. But, so we were right about the predictions from last week. We said we see Emma and Bruce getting into a major argument because they have so much to deal with. And this episode, they kind of exploded. They kind of argued the entire episode besides the end. They really did. But yeah. even so, the end was still, they were, yeah. So we saw them argue about, mainly things couples argue about. They're moving into Emma's apartment that is completely white, all white furniture. It's so pretty. It's very beautiful. And it reminded us of something that you would see in New York. But Bruce was saying, this is so not my style. And he was having his things shipped and he wanted to paint. And Emma's like, no, we'll keep it white. I want it to be normal. So they just weren't agreeing on anything, right from the get-go. Yeah, they just definitely weren't seeing eye to eye. I think their differences are really starting to show through. They seem very different now that the characters are progressing episode to episode. They're not very much alike. No, they're very different, definitely. Okay, so please subscribe and listen to us on iTunes and watch us on YouTube. And we loved your guys' comments. Thank you so much for all your information that we asked you about. Last week, we had someone tell us that apparently the cinnamon bun is a very traditional pastry in Sweden. In fact, every year on October 4th, Sweden celebrates Cinnabon Day. The class Bruce was in was a free course in Swedish financed by the state and is called SFI, Swedish for Immigrants. And when you have a child, apparently both parents are legally allowed to take time off work with pay for 18 months. So those are 3 facts you guys let us know about from Sweden. And great things. Great things. Sweden is doing it right. We're definitely going to celebrate Cinnamon Bun Day. Definitely. October 4th? October 4th. Everyone celebrate with us. Yes, please celebrate. And that's great that they offer that class for you to learn Swedish. That's amazing. It is. So this episode, we finally saw Aubrey Plaza. She made an appearance and super funny, again, playing herself. So funny. So funny. She reminds us a lot of April from Parks and Rec, her character on that show. Just a really dry sense of humor. Very, I don't even know how to describe her. Not friendly at all. And she plays kind of Bruce's stalker, I would say. Keeps calling him over and over and pretty much obsessed with him. And so it's very funny to see her in that role because you just, in real life, I don't know if that would be the case. She probably has a funny, dry sense of humor in real life. Yeah, I would definitely think so. And then we also see Amy Poehler was back on episode 3, and we loved the line that they said when her and Aubrey are in the office and they're trying to convince Bruce to come back to Sweden because they need him for accounting work because they said it's tough work. And she says, Amy says, I will fire you for, and then she goes, oh, from what? And from being my friend. And then Aubrey goes, fine, well then you have to get your drugs somewhere else. And she was well played. It was just so funny because, again, we're used to seeing Amy Poehler playing Leslie Knope, and she would never do drugs. So It's just very different, but it's enjoyable to watch them interact as you would, how they're supposed to be themselves. And they are friends in real life, like obviously.
Yeah, I mean, they work together, and so, yeah, it's really great to see that, and the comedy between them is awesome, and I want them all back together. I want Will Ferrell, Amy Poehler, Aubrey Plaza, and Bruce Poehler.
I know. I really want Chris Pratt. I want Chris Pratt to be on the episode. I think he's just so funny and so great that I would like to see more of him playing himself, because I feel like Andy is kind of a little bit exaggerated of who he is in real life, and so it'd be nice to see him play more of like a down-to-earth normal guy, I guess. Yeah. So, I mean, I would love to see everyone from Parks and Rec on this show eventually.
That would be pretty great.
Yeah. So, okay, so yesterday, Greg Poehler took over the Welcome to Sweden Twitter account and had hashtag Ask Greg. You could ask him questions and he answered them. So we wrote some down to share with you guys.
Pretty funny guy.
Yeah, really funny guy. So, one of the questions was, have you ever wanted to guest star on Parks and Rec NBC? And who would you want to play? And he answered, sure, it's the second best show on television, so I would want to play Leslie's ridiculously handsome younger brother. It'd be a stretch. And that was obviously funny because it wouldn't be a stretch. But I think it would be great to see him on Parks and Rec as well. I would like to see the two shows like connecting, because
the crossover type thing.
I think they're so similar, and that we talked about this before, how they center around the characters. And I think that having the characters go from show to show would be so interesting and such a different dynamic for both, coming from Pawnee going to Sweden. That would just be
I think Emma coming to Pawnee would be hilarious. She wouldn't know what
that
hit
would
her.
be great.
And they would just be obsessed with her, I think.
Mm-hmm.
That'd be hilarious.
Yeah, I'd love to see that. So hopefully someday.
Some other tweets. Let's see. Well, our favorite one was someone asked Greg, who makes you laugh the most while you're trying to shoot scenes? And he replied, Christopher Waglin. That's probably how you say his last name. He plays Gustav, our favorite character, and he said, he makes me laugh on set and in life, and just mainly because of his face.
And when we read that, we're like, that's what we said. Like, that's what we said. He looks like a grown-up little boy.
Yeah.
So his face is so funny.
We couldn't figure out exactly what was so funny about him, but it's definitely his face.
It has to be his face.
I mean, what he says is pretty funny, but he didn't even say much this episode.
No,
He's
the
still
chair.
funny.
The chair.
Okay,
The chair incident, you guys, when he sits in the, do they not have, that's okay, next YouTube question, please tell us, do they have recliner chairs in Sweden?
Chairs, like a lazy boy type chair.
Because Gustav was just like so excited about this chair, sits down and then he says, this is like a transformer. It's like a transformer chair. He's like, someone should sell these. I should sell these. Of course. Like, Gustav, the entrepreneur that he is, looks anything for like a new venture. So that was hilarious. And then he inevitably gets stuck in said chair.
He needs his friends to help him out.
I thought it was funny that he called his mom Mommy, but then he called his dad Burger. I don't know. We love Gustav. He's the best.
He's great. So maybe next week we will see him manufacturing and selling recliner chairs.
Or probably more realistically just sitting in Bruce and Emma's chair. Probably. All the time.
Oh, yeah. And that was another thing we were wondering in the predictions last week is how the family was going to play into the plot now that they live separately. And they came over on this episode. So maybe next week we'll see Bruce and Emma go back to the summer. Well, that's their summer house. So we actually haven't been introduced to where they actually live yet.
Oh, and we did find out that Emma starts work on Monday. So definitely I think next week she'll be going to work, which is good. Because I'd like to see her in kind of like hold up. They moved there because of her. So it'd be nice to see actually what she's going to be doing and seeing her in a successful role. I like that she plays a strong female successful character.
Yeah, she really
does. Very refreshing.
She really does.
I just thought of that actually. So yeah, that's great. Good for Emma, whoever thought of that character. Okay, and then another question that he answered was, someone asked, I visited Sweden and found that the dairy section comprised about 30% of a typical grocery store. Why do the Swedes love dairy so much? And he said, little known fact, Swedish cows produce more milk than any other nationality of cow. Also, I have no idea, cow fact. So I think it was a joke. But it's just, I mean, obviously they do, this person said typical grocery store, 30% of it is dairy. So that's kind of crazy. I mean, I don't know.
That really is.
When I think of dairy, I think of back home in Wisconsin and all the cheese we have there. It's so good.
So
I wonder.
The Wisconsin grocery stores are similar to the Swedish
I know. I'm
grocery
kind of
stores.
thinking we would fit in really well in Sweden. We love Cinnabons. Oh, except for the friendliness. That was a big thing in the episode.
Big thing in this episode.
Bruce kept saying how he says hi to people, like, you know, like your neighbors. He wants to get to know them and people on the street. And, like, we're used to that being from the Midwest. Like, you say it to everyone.
Well, and it's so common when you move in to go next door. Well, at least I think it's pretty common to go next door and maybe bring some baked goods. Like, hi, neighbor. Nice to meet you.
But not so much in Sweden. Emma kept telling him, like, don't say hi to people. They're going to think you're weird. And I think it's weird not to. And Bruce was trying so hard. It was so endearing to see him, like, really try to make friends and have neighbors. And they just wouldn't have it. And so that was I think that was shocking for me. I wonder if that's really like that in Sweden. I would imagine so, because I don't think they would tie it into this episode as such a big thing if it's not really like that.
Well, I think that the show actually sticks really well to, I mean, it's filmed in Sweden. I think everything they're telling us about Sweden is real. I don't think it's stereotyped in any way.
Yeah, so I guess it's like that. And it's interesting, but I guess if you're used to that kind of culture, then you would be used to it, and it wouldn't be weird at all, like just like everything else in any culture that's different.
Yeah.
But I don't think I could get used to that. I think I would like to say hi to everybody I see.
I think Bruce is also going to keep saying hello. I don't think he's going to
so
stop.
great. He's just like typical American, and I love it so much. He's so friendly, so nice, like really, he's very patient. He's a good guy.
Yeah.
I really love his character.
Yeah, I do too. He's wonderful.
And I don't know if anyone follows Greg Poehler on Instagram or, well, Twitter. He posted it. But he posted a Throwback Thursday today of him and Amy dressed up for Halloween. And he was like a little cowboy and she was a genie. So cute. If you don't follow him, follow Greg Poehler on Twitter and check out the picture. It was so, so cute. Another question that he answered was...
Do you miss America? Someone asked. What made you move to Sweden? And he said, I miss America most of all when it's 4 a.m. and I'm watching the Super Bowl alone in my underwear.
So that question made me think, is that like the time difference? Like he's watching the Super Bowl in Sweden at 4 a.m.?
I don't know. I think he meant that he was watching it in America. I'm not sure. Actually, maybe he was watching it in Sweden.
I don't know the time difference. It's
But
gotta be pretty big.
I think he moved to Sweden for his wife?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that would answer the first part of the question. He didn't answer that, so whoever asked that,
He didn't answer.
why he moved to Sweden.
Oh, yeah, well, for the girl.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, so that was, I guess that's probably why he didn't answer, because that's what the show's premise is. Someone asked him, wants to know, what can Swedes learn from Americans and Americans learn from Swedes? And he said, I think the two nations can reach a compromise about the appropriate tightness of one's jeans. I'm currently working on this. Hashtag tight jeans. That was so funny. Because we haven't really seen, the only men wearing jeans is Birger, and he wears overalls most of the time. So it is funny, like the fashion choices they make are completely different.
Yeah.
I feel like the women dress really nice, and they wear a lot of dresses and like floral prints and really classic looking.
More sophisticated, I'd say.
Definitely more sophisticated, hair up a lot of the time. And then the men, I don't know if it's just because they're at their summer house and they're working all the time, but he seems to wear a lot of overalls and jeans, but not like tight, fashionable jeans.
Yeah,
but
Emma goes to work on Monday, so we'll see her coworkers.
She's very fashionable though.
She is.
But Americanized, like New York City fashion.
Yeah, well, that could be how they dress in Sweden. We don't know.
I guess that's true. And I think that
other parts of the episode, so they get really nervous during their interview with the immigration office, and Bruce gets so nervous he starts talking about Charles Manson and serial killers and then
Jeffrey Dahmer.
Yeah, and it's just hilarious to see what they're saying. They're getting so scared. But it was really funny how they played that out, and then they were so worried that they weren't going to pass and Bruce was going to have to be shipped back to the U.S., but they passed because they were fighting, and their immigration officer saw them fighting. He was like, you must be a real couple.
Good luck with that. That was how he
Good
ended.
luck with
Good
that.
luck with that. Well, he was very nice to them.
Yeah.
No.
So back to the fighting, how they were resolved their furniture problem, which was their main problem, which is kind of funny. But people do love how they decorate their homes. I mean, it's a big reflection of who you are.
To be fair, theirs were completely different.
Yeah, they were. So they decided to get rid of everything. I mean, everything. No furniture, no bed, no anything. get rid of it all and start from scratch, which is very sweet, kind of impractical, but very sweet.
I think
that
it was
they
kind
decided
of
to
like
do that.
an analogy or like a metaphor, I guess you could say, for their situation. Like they're kind of both starting over. Like yes, it was Emma's apartment and Emma's the one getting the job, but they are kind of both starting over from scratch because they both, even Emma hasn't been there in like a few years.
Yeah.
So, well, I think it had to have been a few years. So it's kind of like they're just starting over together and like building their life together. So I really liked that idea. I thought it was kind of a dramatic way to end a fight, but it was also kind of necessary at that point. The whole episode, that's all they were fighting about was the furniture and the apartment and the choices they made, and the fact that Bruce's favorite color is brown, which cannot be true. I don't think that's anyone's favorite color.
She knew his favorite color.
Yeah.
But also, I think that that's something that couples that move in together really do struggle with. But not everyone is probably financially so well off that they can just throw everything away and start over. But if you are, that's a great idea, I think, to solve an issue like that.
And it was just very funny to me, the whole process of the immigration office and them being so scared that they were going to send Bruce back to America. And it just reminded me so much of the proposal on how the lengths they went to trick that person into thinking they were an actual couple. And then Bruce and Emma, who were acting completely insane because they're so nervous, don't act like a couple at all. And then, but they, in the end, do believe them because of the arguing.
Yeah.
So it was a really good episode. I felt like I'm glad we saw them fight. I'm glad we saw
me too.
a real life situation. The end was really cute, how they were sitting with the candles, and it was nice to see them in that way, like a real life situation. And the parents, obviously, the mom always disproving, tells this made up story of her client and her client's boyfriend that don't know each other at all, and he ends up getting sent back to where he's from.
She said Denmark.
But it was obviously, she was talking about Bruce and Emma hoping Bruce would get sent back. But not today.
No,
Vivica, not today. Bruce is still in Sweden.
Should we talk about predictions?
Yes.
And now, your AfterBuzz TV predictions.
Well, I think since Emma is starting her first day at work, probably next episode, I mean, we're going to see her at work. So I think most of the episode, they might be apart. And it'll be Bruce either making friends or going to his class or maybe taking up a hobby. That would be pretty cool to see. And then Emma will be at her job and meeting her new coworkers and getting all settled, which will be great to see. I kind of like when they separate them.
I do too.
And you get to see both of them separate.
I'm hoping that they both make their own friends in the next coming episodes and we see them in different settings, not necessarily together all the time. Because although I do love them and like Bruce is the main, I guess Bruce and Emma are the main protagonists of the show. It would just be nice to see them make their own lives as well. So I think we're definitely going to see that. We didn't talk about Swedish fun fact.
Oh yeah,
Swedish fun fact this week, guys. Okay, so we found out that Sweden has the highest number of McDonald's per capita in Europe. That's from 10factsabout.com. And they also have
a bean burger. Well, this is according to Wikipedia.
The vegan.
They have a vegan burger called the McBean.
Yeah.
Cleverly named.
It's funny to me that like they have the most McDonald's in Europe per capita, which is still a lot less than US, by the way. But then they have the vegan burger, the McBean, which seems very healthy.
Yeah.
So I think there's a little bit of contradiction going on here, but I think they love food there because they love cinnamon rolls and seem to enjoy food a lot.
Yeah,
so.
Back to predictions. I think having Emma, we haven't seen them do normal things like go to the grocery store. If Bruce and Emma go to the grocery store, I think
there's going to be a fight.
Really funny. Mm-hmm. Just what kind of foods he's used to and wants to buy. Peanut butter, because you can't buy peanut butter in any other country,
right? Oh my gosh, that's just crazy.
So that might come up, maybe.
Yeah.
He seems like a peanut butter guy.
I definitely think he would be totally try to buy chips and soda, and she would just be, no, not having it at all. They definitely don't see eye to eye on most things, but you can definitely
the dairy thing might come up, maybe
he's gonna be like, why is there so much dairy here? I want to see a grocery store scene.
I know, me too.
Definitely want to see that.
Hopefully.
I really hope we're right about that prediction.
Yeah. What other struggles do you think? Oh, and also their family. I think that from now on they might do it where just one or maybe two members of the family come over to visit. I don't think it's gonna be so much of the whole family. Maybe Gustav will come over for dinner.
Yeah, because we didn't even see the uncle in this episode. Mm-hmm. So I do think that we're going to see them come over separately and have separate time with each of them individually.
Yeah.
So it'll be great. I'm really excited for this season.
I know. It's this episode was our favorite so far.
Definitely,
it was really
we loved
good,
it.
really funny.
Yeah, really funny.
So
okay,
good.
so I think that's it for this week, you guys. Thank you so much for watching and listening with us.
If you want to find us on social media, you can find me on Instagram and Twitter at Carli_Garsow.
And you can find me on Instagram and Twitter at Britta_Garsow.
Thanks so much.
Thank
We'll be right back here next week.
Keep watching.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.
Thank you for watching AfterBuzz TV on YouTube. For more of your favorite after shows and interviews, subscribe to our channel here, and be sure to share your opinion on the episode in the comment section below here. We'd love to see what you guys are buzzing about. Thanks again. Buzz you later.